So what do you know about SpongeBob, Power Dork?
I've seen a few episodes. I know he's a fry cook that is going nowhere.
Do you know about his driver's license troubles?
Yeah, I can say that I do.
How familiar are you with his driver's license troubles?
I'd have to say it's only just a really bad essay.
So this video game is about his driver's license troubles.
I can see that. Yes,
We're gonna be playing through the story mode, and for some reason it's called Driver's Test, which confused me because I couldn't tell that was the story mode.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's definitely a mode name belonging to tutorials.
Yeah, I assumed it was just a tutorial and it wasn't the main game mode, but it is. There's cutscenes and a final boss and everything. See see the signs here. It says Driver's Test up at the top.
Ah, mes amis, we meet again in the sleepy town of Bikini Bottom. It is a most important day for SpongeBob. Not only is it the day of his boating school exam, it is also the last test of the year. Should he fail, SpongeBob will face another whole year of boating school.
And the turn signal.
Very good, SpongeBob. You passed the oral exam.
Of course.
Yes, and if we can only get you to put your knowledge to practical use, you might just pass this test.
Oh no, that's where I always have trouble.
This time, SpongeBob, we're going to go through it slowly, together, to calm your nerves. And then you can try it on your own. How does that sound?
As long as these pants are square and this sponge is Bob, I won't let you down.
We'll just see about that.
Okay. So, the game's reusing character models from earlier 3D SpongeBob games
Naturally.
for the cutscenes. Not for the boat driving models, I think, but for the cutscenes for some reason. And this game's full of quotes from the show in weird out of place places.
Wild. I wouldn't expect anything less, though.
I don't get it, because the only way you'd get the quotes is if you watch the show, but if you watch the show it would irritate you that all the quotes are out of place.
So what you're saying is it's bad.
Well, the quotes are. I wouldn't say the video game's terrible.
Oh no, just this one aspect.
The story isn't so good. It has interesting ideas, but it's not so good. It's mostly a bunch of references. So, this is the basic tutorial. We're learning how to drive and use the boost. The boost is just holding down the gas pedal really hard. This isn't a great tutorial because as soon as you perform the maneuver, Miss Puff stops you, so you don't get a feel for what it actually does.
That's the worst.
Yeah, you use the boost for like half a second, and then she stops you and says, "Good job, you did it. On to the next thing."
You'll go in reverse, so you can use the handbrake located on the C button to hold your position.
The Z button is the brake and reverse button, like in a lot of driving games. Miss Puff is really picky, though. She wants us to stop the boat in the glowing golden stop section, and you'll see I do that several times successively, but it's not registering.
Yeah, no, you just have to get it down. Clearly.
Yeah, no, I have no idea what's wrong with this section. She asks you to do it again later, and it's no problem later, but for some reason it won't trigger this first time.
And do you have to be facing a specific way, or is it just...
I have no idea, because when it does eventually trigger, I don't think I did anything special. So yeah, this is a mess. If you want to get to the actual story mode, you gotta do this tutorial, and I don't know how to do the braking part.
Maybe SpongeBob's just bad at it. That's why he's never graduating.
Now seems like a good time to talk about something else about the story, though. Kind of. I like that Mrs. Puff's character model in the cutscenes looks like she's really tired of life.
Let's try that again.
That is a very good way of putting it.
She has dark circles around her eyes. She looks like she's very... See, I got it that time and I didn't do anything different.
What the heck? What the heck?
So yeah, I don't know if that's a problem with the game, or if that's an issue with the nunchuck setup, or what that is. Because you can control it using the Wiimote, using motion controls.
Motion controls.
Yeah, you can...
That big trend.
Yeah, you can steer it using the Wiimote.
You've used your brakes to stop, but you can also
So,
use your
this is where we learn how to use the handbrake to drift.
While you are driving holding the gas, you can also
I prefer to drift straight into walls.
around a tight corner. Why don't we give that a try? Go ahead and give it some gas and then hold the handbrake. You can steer the boat.
A lot of the cars in this game have different handling, and some of them have such good handling you don't need to use the drift, and some of them go really fast but have really bad handling, so you drift sideways into a wall, and I prefer the latter.
Fantastic.
I'm not saying it's not possible to drift well, but I think just going as fast as possible and drifting sideways into a wall is the quickest way to get things done.
How much you've been paying attention. Drive up the ramp, through the hoop, and then hit the brake on the other side. If you want, you can floor it to get a really good
Okay,
jump.
I just want to be clear. That's flaming?
Yeah, that's definitely a hoop that's on fire.
Splendid.
Underwater.
Just
Yeah.
wonderful.
They make a joke about that in early SpongeBob.
Well, now, go ahead and drive around to the
I think it's when Patrick and SpongeBob are fugitives and they're making a fire, and as soon as Patrick acknowledges that they're underwater, the fire disappears. The fire was fine until Patrick had to point out that there was a fire underwater. Then he ruined it.
Of course. Of course.
Well, SpongeBob, I am so pleased. You did that very well. Now it's time for you to do it all by yourself.
By myself?
Well, yes. You need to be able to drive the course by yourself in order to get your license.
I don't know. Do you think I'll do okay, Mrs. Puff?
I'm sure you'll do just fine. Just fine. Okay, so what's the first thing you do?
I floor it?
Floor it. No, SpongeBob, don't floor it. Don't floor it. Why, SpongeBob? Why?
So did I pass this time, Mrs. Puff?
No, SpongeBob, not this time.
What seems to be the problem, son?
I failed my driving test. Again.
Well, you shouldn't let that get you down. You can always take it again.
It was my 78th time!
Oh, my. Well, I'm sure they'll have another test you can take soon.
It was the last one of the year.
Ah, I see.
I'd do anything to get my license.
Well, you're in luck, son.
How am I in luck?
You're lucky that you failed your test right as I was pulling up to this bus stop.
Uh-huh.
I'm afraid I haven't had the chance to introduce myself. Seymour Scales is the name. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. And what's your name, son?
SpongeBob?
Well, hello, SpongeBob. My boy, you're going to get your license to drive this year, or my name isn't Seymour Scales.
I am?
Yes, you are. As fate would have it, I am a certified driving instructor who can teach you to drive with my special patented Learn to Drive system.
You can?
Yes, sir. With my Learn to Drive system, I can teach anyone to drive in only 5 short classes.
You can teach me how to drive?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Drive is a very simple system that teaches the 5 key things that every driver should know: destruction, recklessness, impairment, velocity, and escape.
Are you saying I should destroy things and drive recklessly?
Absolutely not. Why, Drive will teach you what a poor driver is so that you can use that knowledge to help become a better driver. All right then, SpongeBob. Are you ready to sign up, young man?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we're back out of the cutscenes. Couple of plot holes, or maybe not plot holes, but very, very strange things in that cutscene. How come there was a bus stop right in front of the boating school when the boating school is completely isolated?
Huh.
We can talk over this tutorial stuff.
Of course.
But yeah, for some reason there's a bus stop right in front of the boating school, even though the boating school is in the middle of nowhere. And for some reason Seymour was pulling up to the boating school after it closed. So SpongeBob Boating Bash is a vehicular combat game where we smash our boat into other boats in different ways.
I see that.
In 5 different ways specifically, which is why there are 5 separate classes.
Oh. Okay, so destruction, recklessness, impairment,
velocity, and escape.
Okay, how does escape work?
Don't worry. That's a real kicker.
Okay.
Let's just say they couldn't figure out what to use for the last letter.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so this is a really important tutorial. It teaches you about locational damage on your vehicle. The more damage you take on one part of the vehicle, the more likely the part is to pop off. And the center of your vehicle gets destroyed if it takes too much damage. So every other part of your vehicle is a shield, and the center is the part you want to protect. In order to get this done, sometimes you have to hit people while you're driving in reverse. And that's really, really important. For some reason, you can also boost in reverse. It took me a while to figure this out. But you can boost in reverse to make your impacts even stronger.
Is it the reverse button command?
Yes.
Wild.
But yeah, hitting cars in reverse is just as important as hitting them when you're driving forward. That's something that's very important to remember. Your boat doesn't have a back, it just has 2 forwards.
That...
Trying to maneuver yourself so that way you're facing forward all the time is a really bad idea. Just pretend your boat is always facing forward.
Naturally.
This level is surrounded on all sides by a pit. Any vehicle that falls into the pit will be knocked out. I've set up targets for you to nudge off the edge, but be careful not to fall in yourself. The other cars are spread about, so look around for other vehicles or use the track map to help you locate them. Go ahead, son. Give it a try. I hope you're
The game is nice enough to provide us with a little mini-map so that we can see the boats in what state they're in.
Oh, so they're knocked out here.
Yeah, in this specific game mode, when you run into a boat hard enough, it gets dizzy, and then you can knock it off the ledge by bumping into it hard enough.
So I take it there's multiplayer focused around all this.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how it works, because a lot of these mini games seem built around single player. Like this one in particular.
Yeah.
Because the boats stay dizzy for a really long time. They're permanently dizzy here, but even when you're playing the actual game mode, they stay dizzy a really long time.
Half minute plus.
Son, you're doing great.
Alright, on to the actual courses.
Well, SpongeBob, now that you've got the basic idea, are you ready to start your lessons?
Oh, yeah! I'm ready, so ready. I'm ready.
Your destruction lessons will be graded on how many car parts you can collect before the time runs out. Also, knocking into other cars and wrecking stuff on the track will give you a chance to floor it more often.
I could do that.
Alright, it's time for my least favorite part of the game already.
Already.
Yeah, the destruction part. So what he said is that we need to smash into cars and take their car parts. When you think of that, how would you go about it, knowing all the mechanics that you know so far?
That's a very good question. Let's see. You could drop little pieces of scrap and let them patch them onto your vehicle or some dumb thing like that. I take it that's not what happens.
No, our only method of assault is running into things. So, knowing that our only two options are running into things and running into them while boosting, what do you think is the best option?
Well, it's got to be running into things while boosting.
No.
Why is that?
Boosting is actually a really bad idea because, as you're seeing, we have to physically collect the car parts.
And you can just rush right past them.
Yeah, you don't actually collect them as soon as you touch them. They slowly gravitate towards you. So if you're going too fast, you can drive right past the car parts.
Well, I suppose that's one way to teach... to disincentivize, bad driving.
It's just a little weird, because you'd think to get the car parts off the cars, you'd want to smash into them as hard as possible, but sometimes you'll just gently tap them, and the car parts will still fly everywhere.
This game is a lot to take in.
3, 2, 1, go!
I think SpongeBob gets it. So you can see over on the left, in the top left, we have a grading scale. Where it says A, B, and C.
No.
And, how many parts we get determines what grade we get. And each class requires a certain number of letters in order for us to pass it.
So this class wants 1B and 1C, if I noticed correctly.
I think that's what it said. It doesn't matter because the first class is deceptively easy. This game gets really, really, really difficult later.
It looks really, really difficult now.
I mean, that's because we're playing the worst game mode.
Fair.
For the life of me, I can't figure out what triggers the parts to come out of the cars. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with speed at all. It's very easy to miss the car parts. You can see them on the map, but that doesn't help because the AI cars make like a beeline for the parts most of the time.
Or maybe just the next lane.
Naturally.
And I mean, I can see how this idea would be really, really fun if you're playing multiplayer.
But you're just up against bots.
Yeah. And I don't know how it works. And I've beaten the game.
That sounds hellish.
Definitely the hardest mission in the entire game is one of these.
Fantastic job, son. Just fantastic.
One of these but harder, or just one of these?
It's one of those but harder.
Alright.
Alright, last D mission. Yes, I need 1 B and 2 C's to pass. So there are different kinds of boats, and they behave very differently. Even though this is a game that was made on the cheap, the boats do handle a lot differently, and that's really important.
So what sorts of boats are we looking at?
We have like long boats, dinghies, really tiny short boats, tugboats. They all have different stats.
3, 2, 1, go!
Excuse me, I have to crush you now.
So you may notice that all of the enemy boats have health bars. And this is because their boats don't work like ours do. They do lose parts of their boat as you hit them, but the health bar is what matters, not where you hit them at.
Right, so you only have to worry about your own vehicle.
Yeah. If you just smash into them enough times, they'll die. It doesn't matter where you hit them at. That's not important.
I wouldn't say die, they're all safe, right?
No, they're fine. Don't worry, but everybody's okay. This game is rated E, I think.
Stop moving so I can.
I would not give this an E
I mean,
rating.
I would probably give it an E10. I mean, this is actually kind of horrifying.
You say
but-
only kinda?
Just a little bit. It's not real. These aren't real car crashes.
Yeah, it's all fictional boats.
Hey, jump around.
All fictional boats.
That guy just rammed himself into my butt.
Looks like you're getting by the way that I did.
A C is fine. Nothing wrong with a C.
It's a success. Gotta take it where you can get it.
Oh, we got the speedboat, which is my favorite.
Did great, son. Now for the next class, I'm gonna need you to bring a friend to help.
Well, I could see if Patrick wants to help.
Fantastic. I'll see you and Patrick at your next class.
Is this where I get to wreck SpongeBob's car?
Well, I was just about to say, it's time for you boys to get reckless.
Wreck less? I thought you wanted me to wreck more. Bop!
To be reckless is to be careless, and that's exactly what you're going to do now. For you, Patrick, it'll be an awful lot like bumper cars.
Yeah, bumper cars! What are bumper cars?
Yeah, never mind. It's only 15 clams for you to sign up.
What do I have to do?
Just help SpongeBob by smashing and crashing. The more he smashes, the more parts I can collect, and the more drive points he earns to pay for his lessons. So what do you say?
Count me in!